Speaking of stories, there's a request for a fun, uplifting travel story.
Oh yes, because I usually tell crazy travel stories. Is that correct?
I'm, among other things, you are a font of stories.
You are known for your interesting and
I have a story.
Stories.
I wrote and read a few times, so I'm pretty sure I could just draw it. I don't even need to get into my notes. Oh yeah, I got a good one. Are you ready? Like really, are you ready? Because Bill's stories get pretty, Bill's mom stories can get pretty crazy.
I'm prepared.
All right.
Okay, so I'm going to try to change the name to protect the person in the story.
Well, that means it's going to be a good one.
If there's two names that show up, it's because my ability to keep them separate didn't work. So don't be confused. It's all the same person. We're going to call this Uncle Pat Goes Sightseeing. So I have a very good friend that I've known since he was a teenager, who lived with me and the kids and all that kind of stuff. Which camera should I be looking at, Paul? Lots.
Maybe look at your camera right there in front of you.
Perfect, okay. So anyway, he comes from Toronto. He's grown up in Toronto. You hear that I'm pronouncing Toronto correctly there? Toronto. He comes for his very first visit to the West Coast. He's never been to the West Coast before. He's never been out of Toronto. He arrives with like 10 bags of luggage. One of those was only sunglasses. It was pretty funny for a 2-week stay. So I start showing him the sights in Victoria, and those of you that haven't been here and don't know, Victoria's a very beautiful place with lots of little sightseeing places to go. There's a couple of little mountains you can go up on the top and see the island from. There's beautiful old growth trees right in town. There's a petting zoo. You can go watch peacocks. There's a bunch of stuff you can do in town. So I dragged him around to a bunch of these things. And it was the annual salmon run, which, again, those of you who don't live near a river or the ocean, every year at the same time, the salmon come to spawn, they swim upstream, they do the little thing. It's pretty common. Anybody who lives out here has probably seen it. So, I got a bug splat! Yay! I didn't know you could get those in the dark. Is that a good thing?
It is a good thing.
Yay! Sorry, I interrupted my story there. So we go to Goldstream Park. Those that are local will know that is a very old park, been here a long time, big river in it. The salmon come up that river, thick, really thick, lots of salmon. So I take him to Starbucks, I buy him a coffee. You know, he is my Toronto boy, so. And we get there, and he's looking at the big trees, and he's like, these are the biggest trees I've ever seen, man. These are the biggest trees I've ever seen. And I'm like, yeah, they're very cool, aren't they? They're really cool. And I'm like, well, now we're going to go watch the salmon. So we're meandering through this path, and we get to this place where all these salmon are swimming upriver. And I don't know those that have seen or not seen it, but it's just fish for miles. You can't see the water. There's just fish fighting to get into some little space. And by that point in time, once they've gone upriver, they have changed. They've physically morphed. They have changed their faces, and they are starting to perish, is what they're actually starting to do. So their final act in their lives is they spawn, which is the girl leaves, eggs, the boy leaves the other stuff, and the little baby salmons come later. Then the salmons die, because that's the end of the life cycle. And then the bears and the eagles come down and feast, and then it's winter, blah, blah, life cycle. So I take Uncle Pat to the bridge. We're looking at the fish, and I'm all excited, and I'm explaining what I just explained to you, and he looks at me, and he huffs off, and he's like, I can't believe you brought me here! And he takes off, so I go find him, and I'm like, buddy, what's your problem? And he's like, what part of watching a mass suicide did you think I would have any enjoyment in? I was like, no, cycle of life. The bears are gonna eat him. And he's like, I've had enough of your cycle of life bull crap. I'm gonna wait for you in the car.
this is like a thing that pretty much everyone who went to elementary school around here went in like grade
Oh,
2, right? To go and see the salmon run. So
Boy, when you grow up in the prairies, you don't do anything.
I think the salmon run's happening right now, actually.
Yeah, it would be right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can go and decide whether you think it's the cycle of life or
The other
the
thing.
Toronto version. For the boy who never saw wildlife. I really thought I was educating him.
Are we going to do it? Are we going to
we
get
gonna do
that
it?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8?
It's great watching those donations come in for this cephalopod that has, I see, altered. I've been so game focused. Kara, what did you do to that cephalopod?
Oh, I just made sure that he had been
He is sanitized.
sanitized. Now we don't get his undersea germs.
I like the one on top of his head.
Well, yeah, that's just for decoration.
Yeah.
The rest are completely functional.
Yeah.
Did that pass my challenge, Paul? Is that us traveling story?
I believe so.
I did not travel in that story, but I enjoyed The Traveler.
Yeah.
No! We missed it by $2!
So close.
For the kids.
All right.
We'll just have to go all the way around
Now
again.
we just need to hit
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's your next chance.
All right.